So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to DMB Live. I'm your host, Dr. Mike. I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this exclusive interview with the fabulous, the beautiful radio superstar personality, Mimi Brown. Hello, Mimi. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Mike. Hi, everyone. So nice to be with you.
Thank you, Mimi. First of all, before I forget, I got to remember. Thank you
Yeah,
for appearing on our show. That's the first thing. You took out the time to come here and talk to us, and I'm really, really, really thrilled, Mimi. So thank you for that.
thank you. It's my pleasure. Absolute pleasure, Dr. Mike.
Well, thank you. So, Mimi, please tell our listening and viewing audience from around the country where and when we can hear your show.
You know, we are around the country because I work for iHeartRadio. So all you have to do is download the app iHeartRadio, and you can take us with you wherever you go. When you get the app, you go to WDASFM, and there I am. On Saturday from 6 p.m. until 2 a.m. We start at 6 p.m. with the Hip Hop House Party, which is old school hip hop from the 80s, the 90s to 2000s. At 9 p.m. it's Cut Master Butter, and he gives you the best of your throwbacks. I forgot to mention it's DJ Doc B that gives you the hip hop at 6 p.m. And then at midnight, it's Steve Mason with House and Club Music until 2 o'clock in the morning. And then on Sunday, I come to you with the Comfort Zone, words of encouragement, and hopefully you can just love the music that we play. And also Fatima Gamble joins me with the Wellness of You as we talk about different topics each and every week. That's in the afternoon from 3 until 7 p.m. So remember, download the app iHeartRadio so you too can take us with you wherever you go.
And you know what? And that's absolutely true because I listen to you every Sunday, and I will confess I'm an Eagle fan, right? But it's really hard listening to the commentators because I have you on and I listen to your show, Mimi. So I kind of like look at the football games, and when your show's over, I turn the music back up, turn the TV
Well,
back
I
up.
always tell everyone, I know that it's a football season and probably on a Sunday you're watching the game, but let me be the background to your foreground, you know.
and the comfort zone really does that. It's very comforting. So,
Thank
Mimi,
Yeah.
I got to ask you my first question.
Yes.
So, can you talk to us about your recent experience with Will Smith's new world movie premiere, Emancipation?
Well, Emancipation was a private screening, and it was in Philadelphia on Chestnut Street. And we went there to the movie theater. I went by myself actually to the movie theater, and I sat right in front of Will and his mother, and sat with his family to watch the movie. Emancipation is what we call the American story because it took place in America. It's about a enslaved man who fled the confines of where he was for freedom and in search of freedom, and left Louisiana. And the movie was, I guess, conceived from the picture of the man's back and how his overseer had struck his back so many times. It was pretty much very difficult to even look at the gentleman's back. So it is a true story, and the travels of Will Smith, and who's playing the character, and of how he is in search of freedom, and also his road to and his journey to freedom, which is by no means easy. And it's a movie that I believe that each of us should see and embrace. It's on Apple TV.
And then now's the time to look at it because it's the holiday season. So this is something to do. Mimi, you know, I want to point out something too, that you are an actress, and I saw you in stage plays. Just touch on that real quick for me, Mimi, please.
Well, I've been doing what we call community theater for many years. And I started out with Rick Watson doing community theater, and Frankie Darcell, who's our afternoon diva. And on WDAS, she not only wrote a play, Conversations for Sisters Only, but has also has been the producer and director of many other plays that we're very familiar with, such as, you know, For Colored Girls. I was in that, and several others. So I just want to say that theater is something that I enjoy. It's another part of me that I like to express myself through. And I hope if I'm in another play that you come out and see me.
I will, and you were really fantastic. I sat there and I really enjoyed it. Mimi,
Thank you.
going back to Will Smith real quick, didn't you used to work with Will? Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah, the beginning of Will Smith's career pretty much started with our family at WDAS, and we were the first to play his records. And also, I had a hip hop show called The Rap Digest, and Will asked me if he could be the co-host and join me because he wanted some training in radio. And I said, "Yeah, you can be my co-host," which was perfect. We had one chair, we had to share the chair, and the
Mm,
studio always filled with people because I would try to open up the minds of our audience who wanted to hear new rap music. And rap music at that time wasn't being played in too many places at all, let
right.
alone on a radio station like WDAS, which is a mainstream radio station across the country. And so, and also a breakout station, what you would call a breakout station is normally a station that puts a record on, then everybody in the country, if they wait for us to go on the record, then everybody else will go on Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else will go on a Stevie Wonder. We picked the singles pretty much, and so Will Smith was one of those individuals who was my co-host on the show, and we were there at the time when he won the Grammy, and and it was just been a phenomenal experience, never knowing that this gentleman who
Mm,
asked me, "Is it okay that I'm on your show?" will be one of the biggest stars and movie stars in
in the
the world,
world.
in the
The
world, and
world.
highest grossing in the entire world, who
Wow.
still remains to be humble, who still remains to be kind, who still, if he does anything that seems to be out of the way, he asks for forgiveness, whether the person gives it or not, doesn't matter.
Right.
What our job is to ask for the forgiveness. And
Right.
these are things that I've known Will all my life. All of me. I can't say all my life, but in a major part of my
Right.
career. And knowing him since he was very young, I know the kind of individual that he is.
Cool.
Hardworking, will never give up, will never give out, and a very kind and loving individual.
Would you do me a favor? The next time you see Will, tell him that this guy named Dr. Mike wants to play him in a one-on-one basketball game.
Okay, I will. You probably have to do it in West Philly,
Yeah, exactly.
where we were born and
Born and
raised.
raised. I don't think I could play anymore. But Mimi, can we talk a little bit? I want to shift gears here, and I have some things I want to say that can be impactful, and I just want to talk about it. So I want to
Okay.
talk about health and wellness, right? Someone told me and said to me, whether it was through sarcasm or if this is what they really feel, they said Philadelphia is not the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Philadelphia is known as Killadelphia, right? And I was like, well, if that is true, what do you think the impact of these violent acts are on surviving family members, people who has experienced these violent acts? Because quite honestly, Mimi, and truthfully, I do see on television a lot where there is always violence in our community, whether it's Philadelphia or where I live in Delaware. So, but it seems to be violence in our community. The question is, what do you think the impact is of these violent acts on individuals and surviving families?
Well, I am a survivor of gun violence, and I know that the first person that
Wow.
it impacts is the individual that has been affected by the violence themselves, whether it's gun violence or any other type of violence. And then the other ones that are impacted is family, then it's friends, and then it's community. So you have neighbors and you have people that know you, and it just kind of spreads like a wildfire because everyone is affected in different kinds of ways depending on the level of closeness or the amount of times that we continue to see it. And so the impact stretches far and wide. That is for sure.
Wow. So you just said that you were the victim of gun violence,
Yes, I was
right?
a victim of gun violence. Yes.
So how did you what did you do for your road to recovery, Mimi?
Well, first it was the trying to get a physical recovery, which took many, many years. And
Wow.
because it was gun violence, I mean, let's make it clear. And that took many, many years, healing of bones, ligaments, and being able to use ligaments and bones. And then what happened is that, at first I was in full survival mode. Oh, this, I can hang, I can do this, I can do that. I can go back right to work, but then I realized that I couldn't. So other things had happened to me where I needed to talk to a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and a therapist. And so I went through several until I
Mm,
found one that was really my fit. So I think that part of the healing is finding someone, if you can, that can help the individual who's been affected by the violent act. So they are able to talk through it, express their feelings and emotions that they're holding inside, and get the treatment that they absolutely need. That is step one. Step two is the healing of the family. The
mm.
family might have to join a therapist on occasion to join together so that everybody can be in one accord. Like with me, I couldn't hear too much noise. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't listen to radio. I couldn't hear. I didn't respond well to any outside, like on the 4th of July, firecrackers or a
Wow.
car backfiring. So things like that, because it constantly was a reminder of the gunshot and the number of gunshots. So therefore, so you
Mm.
have to be in one accord as a family, wherever you are staying at that time, and who is going to be your caregiver or watch over you. That everybody's in one accord on how you will proceed in the healing of the individual that has been injured.
And so in my particular case, I did raise the issue for a reason because I do have a heavy heart, a little bit. I have a niece who was the victim of gun violence and she didn't survive.
I am
And
so sorry.
yeah,
So, Dr. Mike.
and I appreciate that, Mimi. And it's like, so it's a constant reminder of how valuable our life is. But the
Mhm.
other part is how people don't value our lives. Life isn't valued by our community in some instances. But I just want to ask you, if you don't mind, and if I'm raising an issue that is sensitive and you're uncomfortable with it, we can stop at any moment. But I do want to ask you one other question, and then I want to ask you, I'm going to propose to you, right? I want to ask you another question.
Go
Can you
ahead.
tell me where your injuries took place? Was it in your legs, your hip, or
Arms and back.
oh, your back? Oh man.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And so, but that's okay, because one arm I can't completely turn all the way, which is fine. And also the injury in the back wasn't didn't completely go in, but they couldn't detect where the bullet was. So they couldn't remove the other bullet because they're looking for a bullet number two. The gun was emptied on me and reloaded. So without getting too deep into it, so I am so thankful and so grateful for every moment that I have, that I live my life at this present time in a
Mm,
very positive way. And I try to do that each and every day. I might fall short. None of us are perfect. I might fall short, but I think it's important that we embrace the moments that we have and the people that are around us. Tell people that you care about them. Tell them that you love them. Don't expect the love back. Don't expect the care back, but do it anyway, because
mm,
you already know through your relative who's no longer here, she might have wanted to say some things. But I know by you doing something that she might have wanted to do, or you're doing something that she used to do, like if she made a good sweet potato pie, if you make sweet potato pie every once in a while, let it be a kiss to her. And
mm,
so those are the things that I do. I really do I do a 30-day practice, and those 30-day practices could be 30 days of forgiving, 30 days of exercising, 30 days of meditation, 30 days of prayer, 30 days of telling someone that you love them, whatever it is, because these are the things that we need to continue to do. You can spread negativity, and that goes far and wide, or you can spread positivity, which also spreads far and wide and also reaches people in the deepest places in their heart, in their soul, in their spirit. And the more we think that way, and then we start to act that way. So regardless of where my injuries are, that's nothing compared to the opportunity to be here to speak with you and those that are listening.
Wow. Thank you for that, Mimi. Thank you very much for that. Oh, wow. I'm almost speechless. I never become speechless, but you hit me there. So people are going to see me hesitating right now because
that's okay. It's okay.
You really so there's people that's going to hear this. Okay, let me explain something to you real fast.
Okay.
So I met some new people that I know who are in Gary, Indiana, and I want to mention their name, Mothers in Charge. I believe they're called Mothers in Charge in Indiana. And I told them about you, and for them to hear your testimony is going to be really, really huge for people to understand that they can survive and that they're not alone.
They're not alone. The Mothers in Charge, you are not alone. There's so many that are here in Philadelphia that come together on a regular basis that, we are not alone in our struggle and also our tears and also our fears. And so it's good to be together with groups like Mothers in Charge and other groups that can understand your story. And that's why I mentioned therapists as one, but sometimes you have to be in another group of individuals that can really understand your story.
Been there and done that, right?
Yes.
And then letting you know that you're not alone.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
So maybe, okay, so I got one more subject that I want to talk to you about real briefly. And
what, me being an esthetician?
Yeah, well, I'm going to get to that because I didn't mention that because I couldn't pronounce the word.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm a licensed esthetician, which is a skincare specialist. Also, I do that also.
Right, and so where can the people in this region that want to get that service, where can they go to get that service? Is that something that you can say publicly?
I was doing it on a private basis, not really private. I was doing working out of a salon and beauty bar, and so now I'm doing which is a waxing, which is another extension of the beauty industry. And so I don't want to give out particular, but they can reach out to you and I can tell them where to come.
Okay.
But waxing includes, women have hair on places that we don't like to talk about. Sometimes it's lip or chin or cheeks, or you want your eyebrows done, or it's summertime, you want your legs done or whatever. So that's something that I'm focusing on right now. I don't have to focus on it because that's what I do.
Right. So you mentioned women. Can you do anything with me, Mimi? Can you?
No, we don't do men except for certain body parts. For instance, not on the head. I wouldn't wax the head necessarily. Definitely wouldn't wax the beard. Would wax a man's cheeks, also the nose and the eyebrows and the ears.
Okay, and I have.
And the ears.
I have hair growing all over the place.
Yeah, because in the ears, the hair will grow back less often, and the hair comes back thinner. And when you do it over and over again, so you only have to. When the ears is something like once a month, and the nose is once a month or once every 6 weeks. Hair doesn't grow back that fast in those areas when you wax and you wax properly.
Okay, so Mimi, one more question because I know that we're getting short on time. And once again, I just got to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time out to talk to us and sharing your experiences with us, because we have so much we could talk about. That brings me to this. People are left alone, right? There are, for example, if you have a relative and all the children die and the person is still surviving, like there's some, again, I'm coming from my heart tonight, Mimi.
Yeah.
Right. So I know people who need home care. Like, are you familiar with home care? Do you?
Oh, absolutely. I represent Angels Are Us, and Angels Are Us is a home care agency, and what they do is come into the home. They can do whatever it is that you want. They can clean your house. They can do your food shopping for you. They can administer the medications. They can bathe the individual. They can keep the individual company. They can take them for a drive to doctor's appointments, etc. Home care is so extremely important, as I am, and my sister are looking after my father with the help of others. So, and that are helping my dad. And so, and he doesn't need, constant care, but he does need care. And make sure that he eats, make sure he takes his medicine on time, make sure that he exercises, and and his clothes are washed and the house is clean and all those kind of things. So a home care agency like Angels Are Us, you just call and ask for Danielle, and you can look it up, Angels Are Us, and there is a number of different home care givers that are under her umbrella that can help those not only in Philadelphia, but wherever in Delaware as well.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you. Does she service the state of Delaware?
Yes, she has a virtual office in Delaware, and she will be able to service Delaware.
Okay. So Mimi, listen, I mentioned in the beginning when I was doing my prelude, I was trying to be all cool, right? So I said to you, I was going to propose. Wrong choice of words. I said propose.
You can't propose to nobody.
I know. It was the wrong choice of words, right? So
I know.
So wait a minute,
You want to propose an idea,
there you go.
thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got it. So I was trying to soften you up so that when I ask you this, you'll really take it into consideration, but we're on the air. So I want to ask you this. Mimi Brown.
Yes.
Would you consider doing a show with me? Like, just imagine Mike and Mimi show, right? And we could bring in...
It'd be Mimi and Mike.
Mimi and Mike. Mimi and Mike, right? So reason why I said that is because...
Why does the woman have to always go second?
Yeah.
Woman power.
Because behind every great man. Anyway, so would you consider doing that? And see what we're doing, we're disseminating information. Like I think that if you agree to doing it, the first person we should bring in is Angels Are Us, because her service is needed right here, right now, and we can get that out into the public. So would you please consider doing a show with me? And the parameters, I'll have my office call your office, and they'll talk to you about the details. We can work the details out. But right now,
my agent.
Yeah, I just need to know. I just need to know, would you be interested in doing something like that with somebody like me?
Oh, listen, Dr. Mike, I just adore you and your family so much, and your beautiful wife, Cynthia. It's such I really admire the things that you have done in the community and how you continue to do so. And so it would be a pleasure to join you whenever you would like. I would like to be there. And especially for Danielle and Angels Are Us, your home care agency.
Yes, absolutely. And that was just the beginning, because we could do it twice a month, half an hour. I mean, I know you're extremely busy.
Stop me down to twice a month, half an hour. Okay, Dr. Mike.
we'll work it out, okay?
Yes.
Mimi Brown, I have to say that this has been an extreme pleasure. It's it's what I dreamed of. I thought that we would have this kind of conversation, and it turned out to be fantastic. I want to do it again and again and again. But what I also want is for you to give us some closing remarks, because we touched on a lot of things. But I think the thing that I want you to touch on just briefly, Mimi, is the people who are out there who feel that they're alone in this struggle with violence that is impacting their families and impacting their hearts. Just give us a closing remark, Mimi.
Well, one thing that I truly believe in is each and every day and throughout the day, take a moment out for yourself. First, take a moment out for yourself, whether it's 5 minutes or whether it's 60 seconds, to breathe, just to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens, usually we get so caught up when you get choked up and you're not breathing. So therefore, none of that oxygen is really getting to your brain for you to be able to think on the level where you need to be thinking.
Right.
take a moment out if you can to start practicing, a time for prayer, a time for meditation, a time for just breathing.
Mm-hmm.
No, just breathing. And then work on things within the home and for yourself that you can do in a positive way. Can the family eat together? Can you have the conversations with your family so you know exactly what's going on with your children and with your family and where they are? Can you, is it okay that they have a cell phone? Because I think that each child really needs a cell phone at this time. And so you'll be able to know where they are and where they're going. And also, we cannot stop any individual from doing anything. But what we can do is empower them as much as we can. And I know that God will do the rest.
Amen. Amen, Mimi. Thank you. Mimi, one last time, give me your iHeart address, please. And also, can you give us your Facebook? Because I know that 30 Days Challenge is on your Facebook page. So
Yeah,
could you give us that too?
on pages. If you can't get on one, I'm on Facebook. I'm under Mimi Brown. And then on Instagram, I am WDAS Mimi Brown. Please follow me, WDAS Mimi Brown. On Twitter, I am Mimi Brown 3. And also on radio, you download the app, iHeartRadio. Take us with you wherever you go. I'm on Saturday from 6 p.m. until 2 a.m. That's when we party hard.
We do. We do.
House party live Saturday night, and also house and club music with DJ Doc B, Cup Master Butter, and also Steve Mason. I'll join you on Sunday, 3 in the afternoon, and with the Wellness of You with Fatima Gamble comes on between 5 and 5:30. And then, of course, I start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm with you until 7 with the Comfort Zone each and every Sunday on 105.3 WDAS.
Thank you, Mimi Brown. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. It was my pleasure. And
Yes,
each and every
indeed.
one that joined us today, may you have a beautiful and wonderful and happy holiday. Stay happy.
Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.